For most acoustic guitar players, the 1930s OM or orchestra model is the undisputed holy grail, the forgotten blueprint of tone that few have ever been able to match.
So to build the most accurate version possible, we teamed up with the only man who could do it, Dana Bourgeois, the luthier credited with reviving the OM model back in the 1980s.
And with the help of his master luthier, James Whitkiss, we loaded it with all the forgotten specs. I'm talking T-bar, fabric bracing, all the vintage details, and added Dana's signature stuff, such as his bolt-on neck. Welcome back, everybody, to the Acoustic Shoppe channel here in Springfield, Missouri, home of the Dreadnought Guarantee. Today we're talking about this incredible guitar that I feel so blessed to be able to tie in with a company such as Bourgeois Guitars to create something this cool, and I'm really excited about it. So this is a recreation of the OM 28, done as accurately as possible, but with all the details that make Bourgeois special. So this one comes in at a price point of $16,446, which I know sounds
it's a
crazy,
budget guitar, is what you're
but
saying.
when you go through the details and the specs that are in this, this is actually probably one of the most affordable Brazilian rosewood guitars that Bourgeois has put out in a long time. So on this, we're going to have an age-tone Adirondack spruce top, Brazilian rosewood back inside. This stuff is handpicked to be the most accurate looking quartersawn Brazilian rosewood that they had available to them at Bourgeois. The neck is going to be mahogany with its satin finish. The nut width is going to be 1 3/4. It does have a bone slot through saddle, and this does have the string spacing of an original 1931 OM 28. So that's going to be 2 5/16, I believe, is the measurement there. So absolutely incredible recreation of that. This does have some really interesting deals of ebony fretboard, but instead of their normal bound, this has the slots for the frets all the way through, again, to be done just like the 1930s. To top that off, this is the part to me that I thought was the most important. We put banjo tuners on this, not just any banjo tuners, but we did the Rickard Cyclone banjo tuners with a 10-to-1 ratio. This is a treat to use and also creates a whole new sound. Again, to keep everything natural, this is fully done in nitrocellulose lacquer and looks and sounds amazing. To add to these special features, this is what really sets this guitar apart. We went with the age-tone torrefied bracing. This neck has a T-bar in it. This is something that they're experimenting with, and when we decided we're going to go all the way, and we just did it all the way. So it does have that fabric side bracing, so done again like the 1930s original one, all animal protein hide glue. Just every detail that you could do with a few modern add-ons to make it a Bourgeois perfectly clean, perfect sounding guitar. This guitar, Jer, was a fun project, and a little backstory on this. You remember we were sitting at a dinner one night at the NAMM show this year, and I was talking with James Whitkiss, and he said, Dana's thinking about doing some guitars with T-bar, kind of creating a more original sound. And I was like, I got an idea. And he's like, what is it? Let's go. So I said, if we're going to do this, let's do what Dana Bourgeois is known for, the OM. The orchestra model, nothing is more synonymous with Dana Bourgeois, in my opinion, than bringing back the orchestra model, the original Martin. And if we're going to go to a pre-war style build, let's do it all the way. Banjo tuners, T-bar, we're going to do the wide spacing, Brazilian rosewood sides and back, fabric bracing on the inside. nitrocellulose lacquer. I mean, every detail that we could think of, we put it all into that guitar. And I guess he brought it back to Dana, and Dana's like, yes, let's go. Let's make this happen. So that was kind of the last I heard about it until about a month and a half ago when James goes, I got your guitar coming. It'll be at the NAMM.
It was at the Fretboard Summit that we ran into him. He said, hey, guess what? Your guitar's done.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what guitar?
So I'm glad it is because they brought it to us, hand-delivered this to us at the IBMA convention, and it sounded great with all the noise in there. Brought it back to the studio. I gotta say, this thing is amazing. Every detail is right on this, and I know we missed a couple of things that we thought about doing. We did think about doing the bar frets. We did talk about doing a dovetail joint, but in the end, felt like there's some recreation, but there's also things that need to be done just to make it a better guitar. And again, Dana, even though he's credited for the OM recreation, this neck joint is built to be more serviceable. It is built to be a lifetime guitar. So this made sense to go ahead with it. Sounds absolutely great. And of course the frets make more sense. But every little detail was thought of through here. We're not, normally Bourgeois have a ebony bound on here so you don't see the fret tangs. Kept it original. Did a 16-inch radius all the way across on this instead of their compound radius just to be more accurate. The details were there.
The neck width on Bourgeois is
yes.
not only that wider.
What is it, 23/32. This one is a full 1.75 inches, so this is wider. This is their standard spacing, so they always do the pre-war string spacing at the bridge, but it just pairs extremely well, and I have to say, it sounds incredible. Bring it back to the studio.
And I know when we first saw it in person, it looked like they had tapered and made a more narrow headstock, but it's just having those tuners come off the backside of it makes it look a little thinner. But again, adding that extra mass to the headstock and the T-bar in the neck, I think really affects the tone and makes for a different guitar.
Here's what I love about this guitar. It's sustain, bigness, it's even, it's got great tone, but it'll stand up to a flat pick as well as it would stand up to finger picking. Those who have been here at the shop, we've actually pulled it out a couple times for a couple lucky customers that came in here to show them something new and special, and they all said the same thing. Amazing detail, no matter how you play it. You finger pick it, you flat pick it. I can full on flat pick this as a bluegrass guitar and it will hold its own with anything out there. So I really think they just absolutely hit it out of the park. I'm hoping to see more of these kind of guitars because this really does do what it was set out to do.
So John, we always like to ask the question, who is this guitar best suited for? What is the ideal player for this or the ideal customer? Me. Well, we know that. You say that quite often, but our store can't afford that.
That's
so.
true. No, seriously, like this is a hard thing that I think a lot of these boutique guitars and companies have kind of lost track of, which is we could build absolutely gorgeous guitars that have all the big special things. Like this is all the details that you want in a super high-end guitar, but it didn't break the bank because it's a performer. And I think that's what's awesome. If you love vintage character, you love that, the accuracy, but you have to have the modern details. Because the truth is, a 1931 OM does not look as good on the inside and outside as this. So absolutely. I think it's for that customer that's looking for an absolute performer, but is also a special collector type of person that wants something unique, but just performs to its full. It's not just going to be an art piece. It's going to be beyond that. It's a true performance piece. As far as guitars to see that, I think compares, there's been other people that have redone banjo tuner OMs and stuff. But again, this has its own character. It's the detail of a Bourgeois guitar, but with a vintage output. And I don't know anybody's actually doing that.
I think even in the wood selection, they looked for wood that was more, in appearance-wise even,
quartersawn,
closer to what it would have been in the 1930s. So although Dana has an awesome collection of wood that's maybe more figured, more stunning, this looks a lot more traditional and I think turned out gorgeous. So
that's what we talked about with James. I said, we can pick out Brazilian sets, and everybody does. They're like, I want it to be well quartersawn because they know that sounds better. They know Dana's belief in that, but they want it to look absolutely crazy. This is well quartersawn, but it actually does have some figure to it as well. I think it's a cool marriage of the two aspects of that.
Hey everybody, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you will, take one moment to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. In fact, our goal is to get to 75,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And when we do that, we're giving away a prize package worth over $3,500. If you want to be eligible for that, just click on this link up here. All you have to do is comment on that video, watch the video, it'll explain all the details. Thank you guys so much for making this channel as successful as it is. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of this particular build, John. I mean, obviously the pros being that it's something different from Bourgeois, going back and doing it as traditionally as possible, and those guys being willing to do that. I mean, that's another thing is for them to say, hey, let's try a T-bar. Let's put some banjo tuners in here and do the fabric bracing and the hide glue, even the selection of the rosewood.
And even the voicing. They re-voiced this guitar to be more 1930s era tone than what they normally would do.
So that's a huge pro that a boutique company is willing to try something fun. And by the sounds of it, for both James and Dana, they had a blast doing it. They were just in love with trying something new and different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to end up influencing guitar builds in the future. I'm hoping this becomes a package idea that we can use in the future. That said, there's also some downsides to this, and I think the number one that everybody's going to talk about, not everyone.
It's already in the comments. The video is not even done yet, and people have commented on this. You're insane.
You guys are insane. You just said it's a super value at $16,500
on the street. And
yes, and I hear you. I really do. But here's the deal. Everybody knows Brazilian is not being made anymore. I mean, I'm not going to say that. You can't make those trees no more, Jeremy. You can't do it.
They're still growing, but you just can't harvest them.
That's what it is. I knew it was something like that. Anyway, no, it is hard to get Brazilian rosewood guitars. Prices keep going up. We've known that since 1968 when they started to embargo the amount of Brazilian rosewood that would be brought into the country. This has been a thing to watch grow and change. We have put in orders this year for Brazilian rosewood guitars in the 20s to 25,000 range through Bourgeois, through Thompson, through these other companies. It is being done on a regular basis. So when we say 16.5 is a bargain in a Brazilian rosewood, it's based on the market. It's still a lot of money. Trust me, if it wasn't, this guitar would be home with me right now and I'd be hanging it on my wall. But it is. It's a lot of money. My wife would never allow me to spend right now. But for those who do want the performance of Brazilian rosewood and do want the details and to be accurate, we could have done this out of Madagascar. We could have done this out of Indian rosewood. It wouldn't be as accurate and what it sounds like here. And to get Bourgeois' blessing to build a set that actually put us in this range and not gone to their standard $20,000 base price, I thought was a really good bargain.
Yeah, and I thought it was very cool of them to say, all right, what price do you want to get this under? And they said, I think we can do that. I think we can get it under that $17,000 price. And that sounds like a lot, but it was a difficult thing for them to find the wood and stuff because I know they could sell them all day at that 20 to 25,000 range. So kudos to them. I know it's not going to be everybody's guitar. It's probably definitely not built to be everybody's guitar. It's a special project with probably a special customer in mind that's going to end up with it. I wouldn't say this is not your starter guitar, John. If you're brand new to guitar, this probably won't be the one you're going to purchase. But for somebody that's really been wanting a Brazilian rosewood, this actually is something that might be in their price range.
Like I said, it's going to have all the things that modern builders recognize, but has the vintage tone and the accuracy. I'm blown away. I don't know if you know this today. This morning, I put in an order. We're going to build a very similar build in a D28 style and try to do exactly the same thing. Won't have banjo tuners, but we're going to do an accurate rebuild very similar to this, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that.
Fun time to be alive.
Yeah, I'm spending your money, Jeremy. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. So yes, it does have its pros and cons, but in all honesty, this is one of the most fabulous guitars, especially in an OM, that I've ever had the chance to play.
the folks at Bourgeois, James and Dana, just doing some great projects, and very excited about new stuff coming out, including we got to sit down with them at the Fretboard Summit here a few months ago and discuss the new professional series.
You guys should check out that video. In fact, there's a link going to be right here in the middle. Check out the new professional series in satin. I think this is also going to revolutionize the guitar industry in that we're going to see price points in USA builds in these boutique companies that is going to be much more affordable. So check out that series as well as other videos we got coming out on Bourgeois and other brands here at the shop. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We will see you on the next one.